And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to continuing coverage of the 2019 Deloitte Tankard, presented here live from the Dartmouth Curling Club here on a beautiful Friday morning. I'm John Seitman, coming to you live from Sheet C as we have men's draw 6 action here between Brent MacDougall and Doug MacKenzie. So coming into this draw, MacKenzie currently with a record of 0-5, but will be facing MacDougall in this draw and Ian Fitzner-LeBlanc in the next. And then Brent MacDougall currently 2-3 record, so he could get an opportunity with a win, 2 wins, and a little bit of help, potentially, depending on the results of Stuart Thompson during the next 2 draws. So we will introduce the teams as we get started with this one. Brent MacDougall, their lead is Kirk McDermott. Their second is Paul Dexter. Their third is Martin Gavin, and their skip is Brent MacDougall, and they curl out at the Mayflower Curling Club. As well as supporting them behind the scenes, they have alternate Luke Saunders. And Team Doug MacKenzie, their lead is Jared Brown. Their second is Richard Barker. Their third is Shea Steele. And their skip is Doug MacKenzie. They are a NSCA affiliate team as we get underway with, and number 1 here, Team Doug MacKenzie will have the last rock in, and number 1 playing the Yellow Stones. Reminder that we have 3 other games in play for you here on the ice at the Dartmouth Curling Club this Friday morning. On Sheet B, it's the battle of the 5-0s as the defending provincial champions Jamie Murphy out of the Halifax Curling Club face off against Chad Stevens. The winner of this one will have a great opportunity to potentially clinch the bye to the championship final taking place on Sunday at 2 p.m. and get 1 win away from a trip to Brandon, Manitoba for the Tim Hortons Brier. And on Sheet E, and I know that potentially one of our broadcast colleagues, Selena Thompson, will probably be very interested in hearing about the results of the matchup over there, as it'll be the battle of the Thompson brothers between Stewart and Kendall. That match, a big match, because in recent years, they have been both in the playoff rounds, in fact, facing each other in the tiebreaker last year. So reminder again of the rules of play here at the Deloitte Tankard. It is 10 ends of play. If we are tied after the completion of those 10 ends, we would go to an extra end to decide the winner. And teams will have 38 minutes of thinking time, so that's from once the last rock of the other team comes to rest to the time your stone hits the back line on your delivery. And of course, reminder as well, we do play the 5 rock rule in this event. So it looks like a little bit of an issue there. Looks like it seems even players at this level are prone to potential for little mistakes of this sort, as it appears that there was a delivery of the wrong color. But we can forgive them. It's early in the morning. A little bit early in the morning for this draw for them, but we'll get back with it. Both teams really playing a fairly straightforward style, 1 stone in, 1 stone out game so far. So a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to get involved in the broadcast. We'd love to hear from you where you're tuning in from and everything in between. If you have questions or comments about the game, we'd love to hear from you. We're hoping at some point during today's action we'll potentially have a few special guests on when we can. It all depends on who shows up here at the club at any given point in the day. So hopefully we'll have something for you. But again, if you want to get involved in the broadcast, you can tweet me at John Siteman, S-I-T-E-M-A-N. There's that, and I can also be reached on pretty much every other social media, and it seems everybody's been reaching me during the broadcast on those too. So if you would like to get involved, just send me a message, and we'll do our best. As both teams exchanging hits, reminder, Doug MacKenzie will have the last rock playing the Yellowstones. Also, reminder, there our other feature game over on sheet D is Ian Fitzgerald-LeBlanc versus Kevin Ouellette. Both teams currently trailing the leaders, so based on what I remember from the standings, both teams are 1-4, so they will not have a chance, it appears, from what I can see, to advance. But playing for pride, of course, this is a great opportunity for these teams who qualify to compete in the Deloitte Tankard. But soon we will narrow it down from this field of 8 to the final 3 who will battle it out this weekend for the chance to represent Nova Scotia at the Tim Hortons Brier this March in Brandon, Manitoba at Westoba Place. So as we've continued hyping up the match and the implications of this draw, both teams exchanging hits in and out. Team MacDougall gets a hit, rolls to the side of the 4-foot. Sweeper's working on it here. Gets a hit, rolls out. So as we get started, we might as well run down the standings so that people are aware, as there is a lot of implications on this draw. Currently in first place, Jamie Murphy with a record of 5-0, alongside Chad Stevens, also at 5-0. The winner of that game over on B will have a good chance to advance on with a bye to the championship final. In third place, Stuart Thompson with a record of 4-1. And then Brent MacDougall and Kendall Thompson at 4-5 with a record of 2-3 each. So both those two teams needing a win here, a win in the next draw, and 2 losses from Stuart Thompson. Which is going to be a tough ask, but again, in this sport, you can never underestimate the possibilities that could happen. As Brent MacDougall gets that stone to the side of the 12-foot. Fairly quickly, we are already on to skip stones Doug MacKenzie, the skip of this team. Just goes through his usual pre-shot routine, just getting everything set to go for his first skip stone. Sweepers working on it there, Barker and Brown. Gets the hit, sticks right there. So many of our viewers will definitely be familiar with the name of Brent MacDougall, as he's been a long time high-level skip at the provincial level here in Nova Scotia. And for some of the ones behind the scenes who may be aware of his many contributions to curling, he's also been the host chair of the Dave Jones Mayflower Cash Spiel, and he does a lot of work over there. And definitely a very nice guy to talk to, very knowledgeable about the game, as he will get the hit stick right there. So that stone will be what will face Doug MacKenzie as he goes into his final stone. Reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the first draw of 3 draws to play here at the Dartmouth Curling Club this beautiful Friday. So if you'd like to come on down and watch some of the action, I forget what the price of admission is, but it's definitely worth it to watch some great championship curling. Here on Canal Street in Halifax, as we see, in Dartmouth, as we see final stone, Doug MacKenzie looking for the blank, will get the hit, roll out, and will blank this end to retain the last rock going into the second end. Doug MacKenzie will have the last rock in end number 2, playing the Yellow Stones. So as we get started here with this, we'll try to give you a little bit of insight into these teams that are competing for you this morning. Doug MacKenzie, his team, this is their first year together as a team, but they have lots of really good credentials for each of them individually, as Doug MacKenzie has made it to the final of this event before, back in 2010, which actually was, if I remember correctly, here in Dartmouth that event took place. Again, both teams exchanging hits. They're not really trying to force an issue early. Once we have updates from the other 3 sheets, we will do our best to keep you up to date with the action. As following the completion of the draw this evening, we will, of course, as we mentioned, there are down from 8 to 3. If there are tiebreakers, we would be up bright and early at 9 a.m. tomorrow for those, whatever it may be, based on how the standings were going in the women's. It appears that could be a possibility still, as Marianne Arsenault currently holding a 4-2 record after an extra end victory over Krista McDermott last night in a wild game, 9-8 in an extra end in the battle of last year's finalists. But should there be a loss there by Arsenault to Colleen Jones in the final round, which will be coming to you live at 2 p.m., that could set up the potential for tiebreakers on Saturday morning. And actually, I may be wrong, but I think that that is actually one of the games that we would be bringing to you on live streaming. Yes, that would be on sheet D that action will take place. So big match for Arsenault, who will look to solidify her spot in the playoff rounds. Colleen Jones, the former Scotties champion, looking to keep her hopes alive in this tournament and force a tiebreaker. Sweeper's working on it here, just trying to get it over. Will do so. Gavin with the peel will get the hit, rolls out. Update of the other games now that we are all into second end. It's a big count of 1, 2, 3 for Jamie Murphy to take a 3-0 lead over Chad Stevens through one end of play. Stevens will have the last rock in end number 2, playing the Yellowstones. And reminder, the winner of that game will have a significant chance of getting that bye to Sunday's final. On our other feature game on sheet D, Ian Fitzgerald-LeBlanc takes a single in end number 1, playing the Blue Stones over there. So that's a big match, playing for pride for both of those two teams. And in the battle of the brothers between Stuart Thompson and Kendall Thompson, it is a single point for Stuart in the first end. Kendall will have the last rock in end number 2, playing the Blue Stones. And that should get you back up to date. Both teams really keeping this game fairly clean so far through the first few ends of this match. Sweeper's working on this, trying to drag it every inch, try to get it there, and will do so into the 12-foot sitting shot stone, of course. So on as fast as we've been going here, we're going even faster here as we're already on to Skip Stone's Brent MacDougall. Both teams not really forcing any issue as of yet. With how fast these guys are playing, we could be done this game in almost an hour at the rate that we're going. The crowd has been settling in for the action. There will be lots of great games on tap today. And we look forward to bringing them to you here on Streaming Live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. Skip zone here from Doug MacKenzie. Gets a hit, sticks right there. At some point, we'll hope to bring you some special guest insight throughout today's play. So as we figure out what that will be at some point, we'll let you know. But again, we thank you very much for tuning into this matchup. Big games here for these final eight as they look to represent Nova Scotia at the Tim Hortons Brier coming up in March in Brandon, Manitoba. As we go through this match, we'll also give you a little bit of a chance to find out who will be playing in the Tim Hortons Brier in Brandon. And of course, big opportunity for the winner again, once again at the Brier, where it will be the Worlds will be back in Canada, taking place at the NMAX Center in Lethbridge. So there we go, blank end in end number 2. So we're still scoreless as Doug MacKenzie will have the last rock in end number 3. So as we mentioned, the Tim Hortons Brier in Brandon, Manitoba for the first time since 1982 that event has taken place in Brandon, and a few high-profile teams already qualified, of course. Team Canada take spot, of course, the defending champions, Brad Gushu, and his team out of the Valley Haley in St. John's. One of the ones that will be interesting coming out of Prince Edward Island, John Likely and his team featuring Anson Carmody, Steve Burgess, and Robbie Doherty. Doherty actually a former Nova Scotian representative, having played the 2011-2012 season with Ian Fitzner-LeBlanc, who they finished 4th in this Tankard event. Out of Quebec this year, it will be Martin Kretz and his team out of the Saint-Romuald, the Eshman Curling Club, the Grand Mare Curling Club, and the Mount Bruno Curling Club. So a joint team in that. And the longtime representative is Dave St. Louis out of Iqaluit, will represent Nunavut in the Tim Hortons Brier. So a little bit more offense here from both teams as MacDougall gets the guard set up. They have one stone in the house here. Sweeper's working on it here. Wheel jam still punches their stone that they just threw into the house, but biting the edge of the 12. So this weekend there are a few other provincial championships across the country in addition to this one here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. At Curl Moncton, the New Brunswick Tankard is taking place there, also similar to this event in conjunction with their Scotties. Then coming up soon will be the Ontario Provincial Championship taking place this year in Elmira at the Warwick Memorial Centre. A lot of provinces seem to be doing similar to Nova Scotia, where they are combining their Scotties and Tankard. Really gives a great opportunity to showcase the game with all of the top teams all in one place. So as we see here, Brent MacDougall sitting 2, so Team MacKenzie looking to bail out a little bit, but will jam on the guard. Where will that go? It will go to the back of the 12-foot, so that will be sitting a count of 3. So opportunity here for Brent MacDougall to protect that stone at the top of the 8 that is shot stone. Sweeper's working on it here and looking to get as much curl as they can, try to get it over center line to protect. Looks pretty good from this angle that we have here. Big weight here from Team MacKenzie. Sweeper's working on it here, trying to get it. Will get the guard, ran in, and will move the blue over. Still sitting 1, 2, 3, it appears to be, is Team Brent MacDougall. So definitely leading toward the potential for either a force or a steal. Yeah, so some people, there are, as you may be able to hear behind me, already trying to figure out some of the many potentials for tiebreakers. As it seems inevitable in this event, they're all with some of the best teams in the province battling it out. that you do often have tiebreakers in this level of play, of course. So currently holding 3, potential for the 4th, because I don't know the difference between the Yellowstone there at the side of the 12 versus the one at the back. It does look to me like it could be a 4th. So currently holding the shot stone now, Doug MacKenzie sitting about a rock and a half above the tee line. Sweeper's working on it here, trying to hold the line and get it around. Will do so. It will just stick right there. Holds there too, for sure. We'll try to keep you especially up to date of the game on sheet B between Jamie Murphy and Chad Stevens, as that game would be deciding potential for who will advance on to Sunday's final, and I will have the call for you on that final coming up on Sunday at 2 p.m. here live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. Gets a hit, sticks right there. Second shot stone is Team MacKenzie. On to skip stones here, looking to try to force Team MacKenzie to a single point. Here is Brent MacDougall. So, as well, this week while our eyes are here in Dartmouth, we are also wishing luck to Team Weagle and Team Jones, our representatives at the New Holland Canadian Juniors out in Saskatchewan. Unfortunately, it was a tough run in the championship pool for Team Weagle, but they have definitely a long future ahead of them. And Team Jones still battling it out to hopefully get a spot in that playoff rounds and defend their world title. And we wish them the best of luck as they look to get that final step into the playoffs. So just lining up here the shot. It does look like if you play with a very precise weight, you will be able to get through that port. It is a challenging one for sure, but still a great opportunity for Team MacKenzie if they're able to navigate through that very tight port. And also, since I remember the stuff there with Team Jones and Team Weagle, we also want to wish luck to Team Ethan Young out of the Mayflower and Team Callie Moore out of CFB Halifax, who are just in the final preparations to represent Nova Scotia at the upcoming Canada Winter Games in Red Deer. There's an event taking place tomorrow at Pier 21, a pep rally to wish the entire provincial team well as they head off to the Canada Games shortly. So those two teams gain their first opportunity at the national stage. So MacKenzie gets the hit, rolls over to his side. Opportunity here for Brent MacDougall to sit his 3 and really put MacKenzie under pressure to try to get force. Sweeper's working on it here. Will get the hit. Rolls to the inside. Good result there for Brent MacDougall. Going to force MacKenzie to draw probably on that intern side. As we do mention there about Ethan Young and Callie Moore, personally it's neat to see them at such a high level now. As I remember a few years ago, we had the Little Rocks Provincial Championship here at the Dartmouth Curling Club, which is our under 11 provincial championship, and teams skipped by Ethan and Callie won that event. So it's great to see them advancing up further in their sport, now getting the opportunity to compete at the Canada Winter Games, where many of Canada's young rising stars have gotten the opportunity to play and win there. Sweeper's working on this one here on final stone from Doug MacKenzie. Sweeper's right off it, so you're going to see them sweeping and trying to get back as far as they can. It will come down just enough to score his single to take a 1-0 lead over Brent MacDougall after 3 ends of play. MacDougall will now have his first opportunity at the last rock in end number 4 playing the Blue Stones. Update of the games across the sheets. Now all into third ends of play. We're a little bit ahead in this matchup as we're into the 4th because of those 2 blanks. On sheet B, the big battle of the 5-0s. Jamie Murphy against Chad Stevens. Murphy holding a 3-2 lead as Stevens takes a deuce in at number 2. Murphy has the last rock in end number 3. In our other feature game, Kevin Ouellette took a 3 in the second, but Ian Fitzgerald takes a deuce to tie it up over there in our other feature game. Ouellette will have the last rock in end number 4, and it's a steal of 2 for Stuart Thompson in the battle of the brothers between him and his brother Kendall. So sweepers just dusting this one from McDermott off and in. The stone of Team MacKenzie is currently holding shot at the top of the 4. Does come to rest just off the center line. Definitely guards that stone there at the top of the 4 foot. We will take a moment to thank some of the NSCA's many partners, Harding Medical, who are sponsors of the Stick and Wheelchair Championships taking place at the Blue Nose Curling Club this February. Tim Hortons, who are sponsors of the Hit, Draw, and Tap competition and the Junior Badge program, where actually it's neat to see there that the club winners of the Hit, Draw, and Tap competition, which are for the juniors age 8 through 13, will be invited to compete at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts up in Sydney at Center 200. So what an exciting opportunity for those juniors. Also thanks to the curling store for all that they do with the NSCA to promote the sport. And of course, when it comes to this event, it takes a very dedicated host club to put it on, and the Dartmouth Curling Club always puts on a great show. And we thank them for putting their curling on hold for these 10 days in January to present the Scotties and the Deloitte Tankard. Thanks to the volunteers, and also especially thanks to the ice crew, who are doing a great job putting in many long hours there. The crew led by Tracy Froud. It seems I always tell this story whenever people mention about Tracy with the provincials, was that there was one year, I believe it was 2010, when we held just the Tankard itself here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. There was expected to be a snowstorm, and the power was expected to go out, and Tracy, in an effort to keep the ice conditions at its best, stayed here overnight to ensure the ice stayed at its best if the power went out. Fortunately, I don't believe it did, but that definitely shows the great dedication of the ice-making team. Wheel looks a little bit up early from Team MacKenzie, waiting for it to come down here. The sweepers wanting to wait for it. Will come to rest. There, it just taps over that shot stone. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that following the completion of the excuse me, the fifth end of play, we will have about a 5-minute break as the ice making crew jumps up to do their work for mid-game. As we see, gets a hit, gets the roll over. Still, it appears to be the yellow at the back of the 4-foot that is probably sitting shot stone. Sweeper's working on this one early here. Gotta have it hold, but it will not. It will tap the blue stone of Brent MacDougall's in for shot stone. And especially opens up the opportunity if Brent wants to play it to go for it. The double to try to sit his 3. I thought he was questioning there as to what his teammates may have wanted to call, but I think he was wondering where his player actually was as Martin stepped a little bit over to the side and was a little bit not visible from where Brent was at the house. Third stones here, Martin Gavin. Another one of our former broadcast colleagues now competing in this event, of course, with Brent MacDougall. Wait a little bit up, so Sweeper's waiting on it to go. Will get the hit, rolls to the side, will sit his deuce. Brent MacDougall and his team. So looking at the possibility here of what looks like the run back. Big weight here from Team MacKenzie. Sweeper's working on it here. Will get the hit, rolls out. Gavin with his second. But McDermott and Dexter working on this one here, trying to get over just enough. Will get the hit to sit. A big count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and really the pressure on for Doug MacKenzie. Because really it's going to be difficult with the positioning of these two stones at the top of the 4-foot to really move much around. So we did mention about the New Holland Canadian Juniors. It will be a big game coming up later today at 11 a.m. in Saskatchewan as Team Caitlin Jones have a must-win game as we see those two stones doubled it out. It'll be a rematch of last year's final as Caitlin Jones holds a record of 6-3. So that will be a really big match for the team curling out of the Halifax Curling Club as they look to get a spot in the championship final rounds. It does appear that it may be a bit of fun because if Jones does get the win over Ori St. George of Quebec, it would put both of them to a record of 7-3 in the Canadian Junior Championship. Of course, Selena Sturmey of Alberta has the 9-0 record and a spot in the championship final. Currently holding to Brent MacDougall. So skip stones here, Doug MacKenzie. A reminder, following completion of the fifth end, we will have the fifth end break as the ice crew get some mid-game maintenance done on the ice, but stay with us because we will have action right to the last rock. As we see that hit by MacKenzie rolls to the side. It's what appears to be second shot. Shot stone still belongs, based on the view that I see from the camera, belongs to Brent MacDougall at the top of the 8-foot. So Gavin is trying to get one last final bit of instruction from his skip at the hack ready to throw. Sweeper's dusting it off. Will it come down? Will it come down? It will do so. It appears to me like it is a count of two for Brent MacDougall to take a 2-1 lead through 4 ends of play. Doug MacKenzie will have the last rock in end number 5 playing the Yellowstones. Update of the games across the sheets as we have the big battle between Jamie Murphy and Chad Stevens, the battle of 5-0s. The winner will most likely have a good opportunity to make it into Sunday's final, as it'll be a 4-2 lead for Jamie Murphy. A single in the third end gets them to where they are now. A steal of 2 in our other feature game between Ian Fitzgerald-LeBlanc and Kevin Ouellette. So that's a 5-3 lead for Fitzgerald-LeBlanc, the former champion who represented Nova Scotia at the last Tim Hortons Briar to be held here in Nova Scotia back in 2010 at the Halifax Metro Center. And on sheet E in the Battle of the Brothers, it's a deuce for Kendall Thompson, but Brother Stewart holding a 3-2 lead through 3 ends of play. So confirmed as a deuce there for Brent MacDougall. Last rock in this end will belong to Doug MacKenzie. So as expected, Brent MacDougall putting that stone top 4 guard put up from Team MacKenzie, and we now see Kirk McDermott out with his second stone of this end. A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, that this is the first of 3 draws of play here at the Dartmouth Curling Club in final rounds of the Scotties Tournament of Hearts and the Deloitte Tankard. When we come to you at 2 p.m. with the final round of the women's tournament, it will be Tanya Hilliard versus Kristen McDermott here on sheet C. And on sheet D, it will be Marianne Arsenault versus Colleen Jones. The battle of the former teammates as Jones and Arsenault combined for a record of Canadian and world titles that is unparalleled. The only one coming really close ever since has been the legendary Jennifer Jones of Manitoba, who will be competing at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts as the defending champion. Big weight from Barker. Rips out the guard, will roll over to the side. So Paul Dexter here looking for the guard. Definitely very different to see Paul Dexter playing a front end position after skipping many years at this provincial and World Curling Tour level, especially. Big weight here once again. He gets a hit, moves some of them around. Still sitting 2 is Brent MacDougall, but those stones are now separated. On the third stones here, Martin Gavin. Sweepers working on this one here. McDermott and Dexter will get the draw to behind, a little bit behind the guard, but still a little bit open. So a bit of opportunity for MacKenzie, but still it will be Brent MacDougall holding 3. So Doug MacKenzie calling down one of his players to take a look at that one. Big weight once again here. Both teams not wasting any time because I just looked there and one of the teams holding 27 minutes, which means they have only used 11 minutes of thinking time. That is Brent MacDougall. So this game chugging along. As MacDougall's stone comes into the house, it will be a count of 4. And that'll be what will face Shea Steele. But definitely a few opportunities there should they choose to take it, to move at least that big clump of 3 around. Appears to be a count of 1 over there in the game between Jamie Murphy and Chad Stevens. So it'll be a 4-3 lead remaining for Jamie Murphy, and Murphy will have the last rock in at number 5. Big match for those 2 teams, both of them at 5-0, looking to clinch a spot in Sunday's final. So gets a hit, will sit what appears to be 3rd shot, as that stone of Team MacKenzie's appears to be just a hair further out than the blue of MacDougall's at the back of the 12. Skip zones here. Brent MacDougall looking to play around the yellow. Actually, my apologies. Looks like he may be guarding. Will do so, overcurls a slight hair to put himself just connected to the center line. So we will have, following the completion of this end, just so that you are aware, there will be about a 5-minute break for ice maintenance, and then we'll be right back on, so stick with us. We have 3 rocks left before that, and then we'll hope to have you back for the second half of this matchup. Excuse me, my apologies. First of 2 here from Doug MacKenzie. First of 2. Looking for double run, will get the hit. Jams by. So difficult position there, as he will now probably be facing 4 on his final stone. And honestly, and this may just be me, but there's not too many paths to the button. So final stone here from Brent MacDougall without the last rock. Looking to force a mistake out of Doug MacKenzie. Which will give them the opportunity to potentially lead in this matchup. Update of our other feature game there, as it will be another steal of 2 for Ian Fitzgerald-LeBlanc. It will be a 7-3 lead for them over Kevin Ouellette. They're just about into the end of their fifth and break, actually. They're on pretty quick. They're in that matchup, similar to ours. One more stone in this end here, and it belongs to Doug MacKenzie. The skip of this team looking for their first win in the tournament. They're putting up a good battle here against Brent MacDougall, the longtime skip at this level that he is. Facing three here. Doesn't appear to be liking this one there, as it looks like it is a little bit heavy here. Will it hold enough? It will jam, and it will be a single point for Brent MacDougall. That'll be a 3-1 lead going into the fifth end break. We will be back in about 5 minutes. You're watching the 2019 Deloitte Tankard live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. We'll see you back in 5 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to continuing coverage of the 2019 Deloitte Tankard presented here on Bell, live from the Dartmouth Curling Club. I'm John Seitman bringing you the call for this match between Brent MacDougall and Doug MacKenzie. It is currently a 3-1 lead for Brent MacDougall, as it was a steal point in end number 5 to get us to where we are now. We will try to keep you up to date of the games across the sheets. As we are in the draw 6 here at the event here in Dartmouth, as we look to determine our representatives competing at the both Tim Hortons Briar for the men, which will be at Westover Place in Brandon, and of course the Scotties, which will take place at Center 200. So as we do get started here with this one, we will let you know there that is a steal of 1 in the 5th end for Chad Stevens to level their matchup with Jamie Murphy. Murphy will have the last rock in end number 6 playing the Blue Stones. And that's the most up-to-date matchup that we have, as our other feature game has not finished the 6th end, and the Battle of the Brothers has yet to get to the 5th end break.
That was good.
So we will give you a quick rundown of the teams. Once again, Team MacDougall curling on the Mayflower Curling Club. Their lead is Kirk McDermott. Their second is Paul Dexter. Their third is Martin Gavin. And their skip is Brent MacDougall. And they curl out of the Mayflower Curling Club. Team Doug MacKenzie, their lead is Jared Brown. Their second is Richard Barker. Their third is Shay Steele. And the skip is Doug MacKenzie. And they are a NSCA affiliate team. A reminder that you can get involved in the conversation and get interactive with the broadcast. You can tweet me at John Seitman is my Twitter handle, and you can also contact me on pretty much any other social media platform as well. We definitely love to hear from you throughout the day. As Brent MacDougall here, playing a little bit more aggressive than he has been without the last rock. As he now gets this stone here with Gavin to the right on the lid, sitting 1-2. Sweeper's working on this one early. Trying to get by. Will it be enough? It looks like it will come to rest. Just tapping the guard around. Martin Gavin here looking to come around and really put Team MacKenzie under pressure. So MacDougall holding 3. Currently 2 of them right around the 4-foot and buried. So lots of pressure on Steele on this hit. Will get the hit, rolls it right by. So on the skip stones, this 6th end, Brent MacDougall here, really with a well-placed guard, could put even more pressure on the Doug MacKenzie rink. Dexter McDermott working on this one here. Trying to get a bit more curl out of it. There, will come back just enough. So definitely protecting those stones at the 4-foot. So it really forces Team MacKenzie onto the defensive. Try to remove as many stones as they can. Update of the battle of the brothers there between Stewart and Kendall Thompson. It will be a single point end for Kendall in end number 5. Stewart Thompson will have the last rock in the 6. So moves a stone of Team MacDougall's in and currently holding a big count of 4. Really difficult options no matter which way you go at this. So the entire team coming down to have a discussion on this shot. If you place this one well, it could be forcing a result that could really put your team ahead by a big margin. So as we sit 4 here, MacDougall, it should be a pretty straightforward shot there. Put it to the 12-foot, and that would really create some opportunities to force a big steal out of this Doug MacKenzie rink. So it comes to rest, full 12. So really, pressure's on. I would do a bit of my job and try to analyze like what it would be me if I were throwing a shot like this, but really, I don't even know. I wish I could tell you more, but again, really, you gotta navigate a super tight port, and you had no other option but to land it on the button. So pressure on here for final stone in end number 6, Doug MacKenzie. Facing a big count of 5 against him. Final stone here, end number 6. Looking for the perfect draw through the hole. Steele calling on it early. Gets it and will score his single. The pressure was on and the skip. MacKenzie up to the task to score his single. It will be a 3-2 lead for Brian MacDougall going into this 7-bend of play. MacDougall will have the last rock in, and number 7 playing the Blue Stones. As we get started here with this seven men here, Jared Brown.
Talk to you later. Okay. Right. Take care.
Sets one up on the center line. Really textbook approach, as we've always seen. Dexter and Gavin working on this one here, just trying to get it by. Will it have enough? It appears like it will not. It will jam. Looks like they're having the discussion as to where they can come around, whether it's the intern side or the outturn side. They decide to play the intern. I believe it sounds like the team saying to Doug, actually, sorry, Doug saying to the team, my apologies there, that they can place a good guard there, but will come up short once again. Sweepers working on this one early there. Gavin and Dexter, once again, working hard here, trying to get by. Will it get there? It will. If it is, it's barely. So on the second stones here, we see this one from Richard Barker. Looking to play around, will do so. How far will it go? It will go fully into the 12-foot sitting shot stone. Big weight from Dexter. Looking to clear up some granite at the front. McDermott working on it. Will move a bunch there. Moves two. So now Barker needing to come around here. So, sitting shot zone still, of course, that's zone volume to MacKenzie. Get up here. So Sweeper's not really touching this one here until now. Sweeper's working on it, trying to get as deep as they can, will do so. Comes to rest, biting the edge of the 4-foot shot stone. So great opportunity for Doug MacKenzie to get back in this matchup. So Sweeper's working on this one here. McDermott really working hard on it, trying to get it. Will get contact on the shot stone. Will roll the other yellow out the other side. Good result there from that stone from Team Brent MacDougall. A reminder that when we come to you again as well at 2 p.m., we will have action from the Scotties Tournament of Hearts here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. And I believe, if I remember my stuff correctly, it will be a big match over on sheet D. It will be Marianne Arsenault versus Colleen Jones in a battle of former teammates and world champions. Big match there as Colleen hopes to keep her hopes alive. At 3-3 right now, she needs to win. As we've kept talking this end here, we still have two only yellow belonging to Team Brent MacDougall. So, correction, one to Doug MacKenzie. My apologies. Sweeper's working on this one here, trying to will get contact on one of them. So good result. So definitely trying to figure out an option that will really be able to give them a chance at a potential for a steal. They really don't want to give too many points up to a team like Brent MacDougall, especially late in this matchup where once this end's done, you only have 3 ends left. Skip zones here. Doug MacKenzie facing just a count of a single, so he's in his correction, a count of a single in his favor. My apologies. As he'll get the hit, sticks right there, will not be in the house, but will settle for a pretty well placed guard. Brent just playing for the possibility of a hit and roll. Question is where to try to get a 2 roll. A reminder, as we mentioned there earlier in the broadcast, the winner of this event will take the spot wearing the Nova Scotia colors at the Tim Hortons Briar, taking place this March at Westopa Place in Brandon, Manitoba. Joining what will most likely be a fairly star-studded field from across Canada, of course, led by Team Canada, Brad Gushu, the now 2-time champions out of Newfoundland and Labrador, curling out of the Ballyhaley. So holding what appears to be a single point is Brent MacDougall. So without last rock here, Doug MacKenzie looking for a steal to get back in this contest. Again, I'm pretty sure it's just a single, but with the camera angle, you could make the argument that they may want to take a look at that blue just barely outside the house. So, sweepers working on this one here, trying to drag it as far as they can. Will come up, resting second shot. So full 4 for the deuce is what Brent MacDougall needs to take the lead even further than it has been so far this game. Final stone here, Brent MacDougall looking at least full 4. Sweepers working on it here, McDermott and Dexter. Really pushing early, so now on and off. Now they start to work on it. We've seen the power that they have, and they can direct a lot. How far will they get it? Will they get it? They will do so. To the button to score their deuce. It will be a 5-2 lead. It appears to be there for Brent MacDougall. After 7 innings of play, the hammer will belong to Doug MacKenzie, the team currently with a record of 0-5, looking for their. Looks like it is a final over on Sheet D, our other feature game, as it was Ian Fitzgerald-LeBlanc taking the win over Kevin Ouellette. They only put up, this does appear to be at least an 8-3 victory for Fitzgerald-LeBlanc. So if any of our viewers are coming in from that matchup over on D, we welcome you here to Sheet C here at the Dartmouth Curling Club. I'm John Seitman, here bringing you Brent MacDougall versus Doug MacKenzie. MacDougall taking deuce in 7 to take a 5-2 lead, and it will be Doug MacKenzie who will have the last rock here in number 8, the Yellowstones. So update for those of you who are interested in the 2 games on either sides of the sheets. As they are 2 big ones, we will let you know there that is a tie game between Stuart Thompson and Kendall Thompson, as it will be a steal of 1 in 6 for Kendall. And Stuart will have the hammer in end number 7. And it will be a deuce in end number 6 for Jamie Murphy to take a 5-3 lead. Chad Stevens, that is the battle of the 5-0 teams. The winner of that match would have a significant chance at advancing on with a bye to the final. Both teams most likely will be in the playoff rounds, as both of them are at 5-0. Really, the only hope left that could be for the opposition teams would be for if Stuart Thompson were to lose both of his games today, it would result in opportunity for either Kendall or Brent to be able to get back into this the standings and force potential for tiebreakers in the men's. If not, we could pretty much down to our final 3. If Stuart wins this match, we pretty much have our final 3, where it would be the, based on what I can see, it would be the winner of the game over on B between Jamie Murphy and Chad Stevens, who would take the bye to Sunday's final. And the loser of that game would face Stuart Thompson in the semifinals. But again, still lots yet to be determined. We still have one more draw of round robin play here at the Dartmouth Curling Club in the Deloitte Tankard. So, as we've been talking once again, there, MacDougall sitting 1-2 with a third just outside the house as a guard. We see a bit of finesse weight here from Barker. Looking to navigate through. Gets some movement. Will do so, but will tap the guard in for a count of 3. Big opportunities here for the Brent MacDougall rink. They need to get 2 wins and hope for a loss from Stuart Thompson in order to stay alive. It's definitely getting exciting right down to the wire. We are excited to be bringing this to you here. If you're in the area, please come on down and watch some of the action. It's been a packed house all week. Still, of course, lots of spots available to come on down, pull up a chair, and watch some great curling action. As a few guards get moved around, the 2 closest blowing now to Brent MacDougall. The 2 blue, so for Brent to call on his 3rd Martin Gavin to play a hit on the yellow and really put the pressure on in this contest. Sweepers working on this one there. McDermott working hard on this, trying to hold the line. Will it hold enough to get the jam potential gone? It will, and will be a count of 4 right now. Good result there for Gavin. So really puts Shea Steele and MacKenzie under pressure here. So the team is definitely discussing this one as they really can't afford to give up a multiple point end here. Because really, if they gave up a steal of a multiple point end, we could be pretty much done in this contest, with Brent MacDougall already holding a 5-2 lead. So update of the big game on sheet B. It will be a steal of 1 for Jamie Murphy. Yeah, over. Open this in case I need to sit down again. So the hit works out. Sits 1, 2, 3. Still. So now the big question is how you're going to work around this. It looks like they're going to call for the draw, play around and in, and really try to lock this house away. Okay, so there, that shot's also good there because you're guarding against the possibility of the raise, because that raise down to the button is pretty straightforward. So now the big question is, how do you get access to the button? So MacKenzie, Steele, and Brown having a look at this one. They're definitely at a critical point in this matchup, as they really need to score a multiple point end. They are going to call timeout on that one. So I just did see there that they're down to 8 minutes and 12 seconds left, so that they have not used any timeouts. Gives them a good opportunity to be able to bank some time now. As they still have the rest of this end plus 2 more of a very important matchup for both teams, even though MacKenzie is 0-5 and will not advance on to the playoff rounds. Still playing for pride, as it is a very prestigious event to get to. So it looks like, based on this, looks like they're gonna have to go for what looks like playing the hit and roll. Try to get contact and move over to the button. Will hit it a little bit too thick, so that does produce shots still belonging to Brent MacDougall, still on the lid. So it looks like from this there that they're going to go for the hit, try to flop over, and really put some pressure on. Update of the game over on E, the Battle of the Brothers there, as Stuart Thompson gets a deuce in 7 to take a 6-4 lead over Kendall. And Kendall will have the last rock in end number 8, playing the Blue Stones, and we'll keep you up to date on that game along with the Murphy and Stevens matchup We do have wall-to-wall coverage courtesy of the folks at 360 Live. And we thank them for their work behind the scenes, helping us put this broadcast on. So the hit rolls out, and MacDougall will sit 1-2. So Steele going to have to look at the possibility of playing the angle. Appears to be, it looks like they're looking at that combination of on to blue. You hit about a solid third from what I can see there. It will be enough to get the hit to double out. Challenging shot, but a really one of the main shots that he does have. First and 2 here in this end from Doug MacKenzie. Facing a count of 2 in the house there in favor of Brent MacDougall. Yes, the hit will run the blue by, but still shot stone will remain. Brent MacDougall at the button. So expect to see probably if it were me, I would probably see it more the opportunity to try to guard the one that you have, but they're thinking of potentially bringing this stone in. Timeout called by Brent MacDougall and his rink. Important call here is be able to try to put this game away. I haven't seen him around, but that may bring Luke Saunders, their 5th, out on the ice. I haven't seen him today. So it looks like they've made their decision. I wasn't really able to hear the conversation of anything there, but I guess we'll see it as you, the viewers at home, see it. First and 2 here, Brent MacDougall. The skip of this rink out of the Mayflower Curling Club. They need to win, and Kendall Thompson needs to win to keep both of those rings' hopes alive. So Brent, a little bit unhappy with that one, it appeared, as it does kind of undercurl a little bit. They're now looking at the angles of where they could really played the guards and slashed them around to try to get access. As you may have seen there, MacKenzie gesturing toward that stone on the left side of center line, saying that's the one that you need to work off of if you want to get to the button. Down by 3, you really need a result out of this stone here. And you'll probably hear a little bit of drama in the background as in the matchup between Chad Stevens and Jamie Murphy. Currently, Murphy sitting a big count of 4, potentially 5 if they looked at it. They do not have the last rock here, as we see MacKenzie there. We'll get the hit, rolls over, and it will be a final 6-2. Brent MacDougall over Doug MacKenzie. MacDougall extends their record to 3-3. MacKenzie down to 0-6. So that concludes our coverage during this round of play. When we come to you at 2 p.m., it will be action from the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, as we will have on sheet D, it will be Marianne Arsenault versus Colleen Jones. And on sheet C here, we will have Tanya Hilliard versus Kristen McDermott. So until we talk to you again, on behalf of our crew behind the scenes at 360 Live, I'm John Seitman, saying have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you back at 2 p.m. for Hilliard versus McDermott here on sheet C from the Dartmouth Curling Club.